All right, hello everyone. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. They are actually here at Metrotham Con with us this weekend. We're going to be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you're probably going to be watching this on Friday night. Here with Bill Diamond, jack of all trades. I'm thinking two-time Emmy Award winner, producer, and we have also another special guest with us. Could you introduce me to him?
Oh, Gorgo? Yeah, he won't say too much. Right now, being a gargoyle, he goes into that stone position. He's been around for hundreds of years. And usually we pull him off from Monster TV and take him on the road off the side of the building because he's always up there. But right now, he'll come alive and does his thing later, but he'll go into his stone position for quite a while we do this.
I love it. So you've been around for a minute.
I've been around for a few minutes.
You have a hell of a resume. How did you get your start? Because I know it was a whole different ball game then.
Yeah, everybody asks me that. I mean, I had a lot of interests, and I still do. I loved scenic design, makeup design, television, film. So acting, I was a child actor. So I got into a lot of different things at a very, very early age. When I was 9, when I was in my teens, I started my own studios when I was young and have done that ever since. I got a wonderful crew and talented people that work with me. And I've got to work with many, many film directors and great people, including Jim Henson, and many other projects for the last over, close to 50 years.
What are the most prominent projects that people would most likely recognize?
They would know me from Little Shop of Horrors for after it closed on Broadway. I created the plants, and it's part of the tour, and I've been doing the plants for 45 years. This is the 45th year. I'm still doing it on stage. As we speak, I was on stage before I came here, and I'll go back to New York and be back on stage doing Little Shop. They've known me for many television shows I have done. They'll know me of my involvement with Jim, which has moderate as it was. Many different things that they probably didn't even know I did. So it's gone on forever, I should say.
You certainly seem to be enjoying what you do.
I love what I do. Every day it's a new experience. Every day I get to wear a different hat. I could be a lighting director one day. I can oversee a film another day. I could be on stage the next day. Designing things. I work on many, many projects for a number of television networks as well as theaters and productions of all levels, all statures. So I really, really love my job.
Allow me to kind of toot your horn here. The two Emmys, what were they for specifically?
One was for set design, and the other one was for lighting for television for Fox and the Yes Network.
Okay, awesome. So I see, I almost wish we could pan. Well, I think we're going to do a separate video later where we're just going to kind of pan over your stuff.
We have we call this a flight because we flew in. So this is just a flight show. When we go out on road shows, tours, my crew, John is my road manager, and my wonderful team, they bring a lot of the characters that people get to see there, which we do have some original Henson pieces that are there, part of that, and they get a chance to be able to go in and see all these wonderful characters from countless shows that I may even had a little involvement with.
So I saw you were showing video earlier of the plant from Little Shops of Horrors.
Yeah, we were showing that, and I guess the guy Gilchrist, who's one of the most wonderful people in the world, and a good friend for many, many years, and that really is the heart of what the Muppets look like with Jim. He was watching a production I did called Numa Numa for The World According to Rome. So I've worked on hundreds of TV shows.
We're actually going to be talking to a guy here in a little bit. So, I'm telling you, I can't take my gaze. I'm sitting here interviewing you, and then I'm like,
Of Gorgo will just sit there for a while. You know, he won't move. Like I said, he's a gargoyle, so he tends to go into that gargoyle mode from Monster TV.
Who are I heard you know, some people, you know, I've kind of been sitting around listening to kind of how things go, and people have asked you, oh, you know, who's your favorite you know, Muppet, or who's your favorite project, and you don't really go that route.
Well, first of all, they're all my favorites, and second of all, if I talk about any of the hundreds of characters we own that are around us, they'll get offensive. And they all feel that it's them. And as far as I'm concerned, especially with Gorgo sitting next to me, it's most likely him. But that's only because he's in the room right now.
So he does talk.
Oh, he does talk. He's very vocal when he wants to be.
I think I caught just the tail end of that earlier today.
He was moving around later. He'll chat with you, but he won't say too much with me in the room.
I was over there. I'm a big Gremlins fan, and I was over there kind of walking around, and you had a gizmo there that I had you bring over to our table. What's the story behind Gizmo?
The story is that there's a wonderful talent that did the Gremlins, and my dear friend Mark Dotson was the voice for a lot of the Gremlins. At Warner Brothers, I had made a number of visits out there on some other projects, and would go on the Gremlins set a couple of times when they were filming. And I have wonderful friends that are artists that worked on that, from the Stan Winston Company all the way to Rick Baker. So a number of the Gremlins that Mark had, we restored for him. And so when they were getting into their age, we would bring them back. So we repaired them and we took care of them, and then we had, you know, a gizmo that we would take around so the fans could see him. But there are wonderful other people that had created the Gremlins. We just get a chance to be their keepers now and then.
Yeah. Okay. So like just basically restoration. That's really cool.
We did some restoration on a number of the original Gremlins for a number of people that have them privately, and we do bring around the puppets from Gremlins now and then. That's our involvement was very little.
So I'm sitting here thinking about a lot of the stuff. Of course, you know, the most visible, of course, are the Muppets, and a lot of, like, you have a ton of artwork over there. And I was like, man, you have a very distinctive style. Like, I could look at one of your pieces compared to anybody else, and I could tell it was you already just by checking it out. And I'm like, what did you do art first? Like,
well,
drawing?
I do art all the time. I mean, all the shows, all the characters, everything we work on come off my table and then go to everyone. What I thought was unique when we started this venture into Comic-Cons, and I've been involved with a convention-type setting since 1974, famous monster conventions, and have friends that are incredible artists like Ken Kelly or Frazzetto or Basil Gogos and James Bama, who are icons in the art industry, always with them. So I thought the best thing to do, instead of having pictures from every show or theater show that I did, something more personal that I drew that the fan could take away with. You know, so I like that a lot better, because that's really where the shows or TV shows start, is from a drawing. So to do a drawing of that, and as far as even Jim's stuff, it's as me and Guy and everyone else that had been even around him, we're fans of him, you know, and we want to keep his memory alive. So we tribute Jim in everything we do.
So yeah, I saw all the art and everything, and that's cool that you have that, because people can purchase that, whereas as far as I know, they can't take a Muppet home.
No, we do have a couple. They can take an Audrey too.
Okay.
Puppet home, and we do make a line of Ziffits, which are which are old characters going to be now into a new series, and some other thing representation of that. So we do that, but all the characters that do come are all original.
I want to kind of pick your brain about the lighting and things like that. Like I almost feel like, yes, you're an Emmy winner, but that seems almost like a thankless job. Like, lighting is one of the most important things in film.
it is. One of the things, I'm a storyteller. Okay, that's what television and film is. It's about creating characters. It's all comes from a good story, whatever it is. Everything core studio. When you do it in a drawing, lighting is the colors and the shading is part of lighting. When you do TV or film, lighting is telling that story. It's painting with light. So most television shows, you really have, I mean, anyone can put up a light. It's what you do with any of these materials that make the difference. If you need to see it and feel it when you walk away. Not know what it is, but see it and feel it. And if it's done right, you may not know why it's done right or have a feel for it. It just looks good. So if we have an actor or somebody on television as a sports anchor or something, when we're lighting, it's to make that whole package look good so that when you're watching it, you enjoy it.
See, it's one of those things a lot of people don't think about until it's not done correctly. And then they're like, whoa, there's something wrong here.
What's wrong with this environment,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
So, like, actively right now, what are you working on? Like, do we have enough time?
I just came off from doing, I do a lot of stuff in the sports world too. I build and design sets that you probably wouldn't even know if you watch the Fox Network or Yes Network, the stuff that's all around the Yankees, the players or the Nets or even the Giants. I have probably created what they were standing in or were on or for an interview. Especially this year, starting of this year, I did 5 different television venues for Fox within the last 7 weeks. On top of that, Little Shop of Horrors is back out and a lot of different independent productions. I built the dragons for Shrek for independent productions. We have a new TV series called Land of the Moonshins that is something I created in the 80s that we've brought out. Monster TV is always shooting. We do stuff for the museums, The Witch's Dungeon. I'm doing the documentary on Gorgo's Christmas Carol. And we're also doing Basil Gogos, was an artist that we were creating his world, his documentary, because we lost him 2 years ago, about his life with everyone that was inspired in Hollywood, like Tim Burton and Rick Baker and Rob Zombie and the list goes on and on. Rock bands and
Wow.
Alice Cooper and
You have your hands in several cookie jars.
yes, and there's a number. Yeah, so I've got, and then there's another Horror and Rock, which is another documentary. Outside of we're releasing Phantom of the Opera, which was a documentary I did on the history of Phantom with Cortland Hull. So we do a lot of those. So I move around from about 7 or 8 projects on documentaries outside of 6 TV shows that I'm working on, as well as 3 network shows.
I don't think I realized when we started this interview exactly how busy you are. I mean, it is. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's nonstop. Every day it's different. Every day I'm involved with it. I've got a great team. I got a great crew. It's not just me. It's the people that are with me and around me, and give us the time to come out and see fans so they can see this, but it's a small part. I could go back and do a Michelin commercial, which I just finished. We'll assist other production companies to either do an effect or create a set or we have scenic shops, puppet shops, television studios in my studio in New York. So we do a lot of stuff for a lot of other people on any level.
Have you noticed, because you've been fairly active, I guess, without a break for a very long time, and have you noticed any, everybody seems right now to have a thirst for 80s and 90s nostalgia. Have you seen that impact your personal business?
Oh yes, especially now. I mean, again, I'll be doing Little Shop in Washington, so I'll be doing some special theater and then they'll have understudies take my place when I travel around. Yes, a lot of the shows that we're doing coming back. Well, Land of the Moonshins I put out in the 80s, so not everybody will remember that. So now we're doing a bigger production that they will get a chance to see on Amazon Prime. So that is. So a lot of the things that we did in the 80s are back. I mean, you're going to see, countless things that were 80s inspired that we're involved with that we did 30, 40 years ago.
You're talking about Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm assuming the one that you're talking about is like a stage production?
Yes, I did not do the movie. I did the stage production. After it closed on off-Broadway, it went on tour, and a number of independent theaters started. This was like 83, 84. This is my 45th year of still performing the plant somewhere in the globe.
Wow.
I am probably the only puppeteer that has literally done it year after year after year. See, when I was doing it, there was not very many people that were doing it. So I was the only one that had the plants at that time. Now, different productions could do a version of it or whatever, but the ones that we have are that people climb into at the cons are from 83 all the way up and still on stage today. And I still climb in them.
So as a puppeteer, you do the movement and the voices? No.
Little Shop is the only voice I don't do.
Okay.
When I'm doing all the other puppets, those are my voices. As Gorgo would say, his voice and my voice are very close. He's just, said, I sometimes being around Bill so much I sound like him. But Little Shop is the only one that I don't do the voice because you have someone that's singing the pieces. So there's countless different people I have done it with over the years.
Okay, so you don't fancy yourself a singer?
I've had my moments. I have done some on-stage stuff with, I've brought Stuffy on stage with the Grateful Dead, so I've had things.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so there's been times where Gorgo's had to sing on something that may have been a show or an appearance, or it's happened.
I want to dig a little deeper. I want to ask, all the time, you've had years of experience, all kinds of different productions. Tell me a story, an entertaining story that doesn't have to be funny, just maybe something that not a lot of people know about.
Oh, geez.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
There's so many of them. Whenever we travel, there is definitely a story. So, a lot of the times it's really interesting things that, we've done or we've been with the characters that have, happened. That I remember when we had Little Shop, we would put the plan into the trucks when we would travel just for fun thing. And one day we got pulled over like anyone else did by a police officer, and the plant's in the back of the truck, and the officer said to us, and we had alien puppets, anything in the truck we should know about? And I said, yeah, I got a man-eating plant back there, and I'm harboring aliens. And he said, really? And I said, you can go back and look, but if you don't come back, I'll know why. And he went back there and looked, and he's like, I can't write you a ticket for that because that was just incredible. So really, the interesting thing.
When exactly was that?
In one of the tours that we've done.
Was it like before the days of common cell phones?
Oh yes.
Okay, so you didn't have the cop try to get a selfie with the plants?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Have you had that happen?
Yes.
Like run-ins with law enforcement and them?
Oh yeah, usually they wind up knowing who I am or that type of thing. So it's always fun. It's always an experience, and it's always great. And our job is to put smiles on people's faces. That's our job. No matter what we're doing, that's really what it is, for giving people a chance to smile at the end of the day.
Well, I'll tell you, like me just sitting here talking to you, you put a smile on my face. This has been entertaining.
That's our job. That's what we do. Ours is to bring out that inner kid, whether you're a kid from the 80s, the 70s, and I do that with a lot of actors. It's that that's what makes this fun for us, is to see whether you're a little kid or you're a big kid and grew up with stuff we did or stuff that Jim did or any other entertainment group of that stature. It's always fun to see those little children come out of everybody.
It's always cool because, whenever I went over there, of course, you sucked me in with Gizmo. And then I was looking around at some other things I didn't necessarily recognize. But that's kind of what that does, is chances are somebody over, when they come to your table, they will say at least one thing that they're a really big fan of. And there's some other things they don't recognize. And then they'll go look that other stuff up, and then we learn a lot more about it, what it is you do.
Learn a lot more about it. If it's something we necessarily did not build, but we had something to do with.
Yeah.
A character. We like giving them the history of who created those and where they came from. And if the younger generation didn't know who Jim Henson was, when they leave us, they'll find out who he was, or a great man like Stan Winston, or who Rick Baker is, or any of these names that I'm running out. If you don't know who that talent did, that were relationships and friends of mine, you will know that before you leave, because we like tributing the people that have given us start or gave us a chance to do what I do now. So we always like to tribute and let you know a history of all the things that we were involved with and are still involved with.
I love that. All right, well, I love him.
I have to leave for him to not turn into stone. So if you really want him to come back and talk to you for a few minutes, we can make that happen.
That'd be neat.
Okay.
That'd be really neat. Okay. The same.
He'll get shy on camera until he's, unstones.
Okay. So I've got to turn the camera off.
We'll let them go away, I promise. And hopefully we'll see everybody out there down here to see all the great talent, all the voiceover people. Get to see Guy Gilchrist. Come visit us and everyone that's here, because there's a marvelous collection of very talented people here. And I hope they all come down and visit with us.
This is one of the biggest collections of talent I've seen in years outside of like a major big city convention. So
and hopefully they'll get to enjoy it, and we're very happy to be here. We get to tribute a lot of the great people that gave us the chance to do what we do now.
It is. The fans are what it's all about, and I do. Like I said, this interview is probably going to air on Friday night. You still got 2 full days. The guys at Metrotham Con here have set it up to where pretty much from like 9 in the morning to 7 o'clock at night.
Can you come down and have some fun?
Yeah, definitely. Have some fun.
We hope to see you here. All right? Otherwise, I can't put a smile on your face.
Anyway, we are here live at Metrotham Con with Mr. Bill Diamond. Like I said, jack of all trades, 2-time Emmy winner. And we're going to go ahead and wrap. But come see us this weekend. Seriously. A good, affordable con here in East Ridge, Tennessee at Camp Jordan Arena. Drop by and see us, because I'm sure you've got something to say to them when they show
we'll
up.
Have a lot. So will Gorgo and Guy and everyone else here. Wonderful voiceover people here. The guys from X-Men are here. It's an incredible show, and we're glad to come down from New York to be here.
Again, thank you, Bill, for coming on. And again, I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by the fine folks at Infinity Flux. They're here as well, going to be here all weekend from Hickson, Tennessee. And this has been our awesome interview with Mr. Bill Diamond. Thanks for joining us.